Hello there, friends. Meteorologist Shane Smith here with you. Valentine's Day evening, just before 7:30 p.m. We've got a lot of winter weather to talk about. In fact, it is already starting. Getting several reports across portions of central and eastern Kentucky of icy roads from freezing drizzle. I'm hearing reports of slick roadways, Laurel County, Pulaski County, Rockcastle County, back over towards Perry County. It's just turning into a skating rink out there, folks. If you don't have to be out tonight, just hunker down and wait it out because it only gets worse from here. I wanted to start tonight with the National Advisory Map just to show you the impact of this storm. Pretty much the majority of the state of Texas under a winter storm warning going all the way up into New England. This is going to be a huge storm for a large swath of the United States, including all of Kentucky. And let's break it down. Winter storm warnings out for most of the state. Ice storm warnings down around the Tennessee and West Virginia and West Virginia borders. Just a heads up on this ice storm warning. It's not going to surprise me if this comes a county or two back to the northwest with the way some of the latest data is trending. But whether or not you're in an ice storm warning or a winter storm warning, it is going to be a slick mess tonight and especially tomorrow as we get 2 rounds of wintry precipitation in here. And that second round could be really heavy for ice in eastern Kentucky and snow in central and northern Kentucky. Also, winter weather advisory out for the counties in purple for the freezing rain tonight. It's already slick out there, folks. Just if you don't have to go out, don't go out. And you can see it's not showing up on the radar. This drizzle is so light and so low to the ground that the moisture is just trapped near the surface and the radar beam's just shooting right over it. So it's not going to show up on radar. What is showing up on radar is down in northern Mississippi, about to cross into Tennessee. That's our first wave of wintry precipitation. You notice this is a very large area of precipitation stretching all the way from Mississippi back to central and southern Texas. And as those little waves of energy come in off this area of low pressure, we're going to see waves of wintry precipitation starting late tonight. Now, temperatures generally below freezing across the board here at the surface in Kentucky. And in fact, we're into the teens in western Kentucky and near 30 down along the Virginia border. Now, why are these temperatures so important? Well, it has to do with what we call the freezing ratio. Normally, when temperatures are right around the freezing mark, for every 1 inch of liquid precipitation, you would get 10 inches of frozen precipitation. So 1 inch of rain would equal 10 inches of snow. But as those temperatures drop, that ratio gets a little bigger. So if you get temperatures down into the teens, that ratio may go closer to 15 to 20 to 1. So 1 inch of rain would equal 15 to 20 inches of snow. So that's why I am really concerned in Western Kentucky for some extreme heavy snowfall. And here in Eastern Kentucky, we've got a different situation going on that may lead to significant icing. This is a map I don't show often, but I wanted to break this out tonight to explain why we are concerned about freezing rain in Eastern Kentucky. These are the temperatures at 850 millibars of pressure, or otherwise about 5,000 feet off the ground. Meteorologists, we measure height through pressure. It's a little weird. Won't get too much into why we do that, but just know these are the temperatures right now at about 5,000 feet above the ground. Well, notice from a line from just northwest of Somerset up to Berea, West Liberty over towards Ashland, and points to the south and the east, we're above freezing at 5,000 feet. So when you think about precipitation, it all starts as snow in the top of the atmosphere. And if it hits that warm layer at 5,000 feet, it's going to melt. And the shallow layer of cold air here at the surface is below freezing. So it doesn't have time to refreeze to sleet, but it does have time to freeze on impact. And that's how we get freezing rain. So from anywhere that is, I would say, from Jackson to Mount Vernon to Somerset to Monticello up to Salyersville, Paintsville, and to the southeast. I think we are in more of a freezing rain setup, at least initially. Back up towards Berea and to the northeast and southwest of there, right along that freezing mark, that's more of a sleet setup. So it's going to be really, really critical to keep an eye on these temperatures. And we'll get more into that a little later, but I wanted to explain why we were concerned more with freezing rain in eastern Kentucky and snow in western and northern Kentucky, and why there's going to be some questions what happens in central and south central Kentucky. But this is going to be a big impact storm. In fact, we're already getting the travel impacts right now. I've got it at very high. I'm probably going to boost up that power to very high in the morning, just because there's still so much ice in central Kentucky. It's not going to take a lot of snow and wind to bring down power lines there. And if we get a half inch of ice in eastern Kentucky, that's going to cause power issues for days, if not over a week. So, not a lot has changed in what you need to know. We're still on track for the storm to move in late tonight, early Monday. Two waves of precipitation, one in the morning, then one in the evening. Heavy snow looks likely for northern and western Kentucky, and we're talking a significant ice storm for southeastern Kentucky. We're already seeing the travel issues, and the power outages are likely coming. In fact, I think something like 14,000 customers across Kentucky still without power right now. That's before the storm has even started. All right, here's what everyone came to see the snow forecast. For far northern and northwestern Kentucky, right along the Ohio River, for areas in the red, 6 to 12 inches. So this includes Covington and the greater Cincinnati area, back down towards Carrollton, back over towards Sparta, Louisville, right along the Ohio River down towards Owensboro, and Henderson and Evansville. That's where I think the heaviest snow band will set up. May have to stretch that back down towards Paducah, depending on how the setup lays out. For the area in the kind of the deep pink, almost purple, 4 to 8 inches. That runs from just north of Lexington up towards Georgetown, northeast, southwest, back towards E-Town, Bowling Green, Fort Campbell, land between the lakes. The real big question mark is the one in the dark blue, that 1 to 4 inches of snow and sleet and ice. That's my lowest confidence area, folks. And it's just because the more sleet you see, the less snow. If you get freezing rain in there, it cuts back on snow. Trying to forecast where this boundary between the snow, sleet, and freezing rain sets up is going to be next to impossible. It's probably going to be less than a 20 to 50 mile wide corridor of where this transition happens. And trying to pinpoint where exactly that's going to happen is really, really hard. And I'll tell you why if you stick around for the end of the video. But just know that's my least confident forecast area. If we get a little bit more cold air winning out, that could be more snow. In fact, we may go higher than 4 inches of snow. If we get a little bit more warm air winning out in the mid levels, we may get more freezing rain. That one is really just, it's too close to call. What's not too close to call, Eastern Kentucky. I think most of us are in store for a significant ice storm. I just don't see the Arctic air winning out in the mid levels. I think that warm air is going to stick around. It's already there. And we've got a lot of freezing rain to deal with. In fact, about 36 hours of it. And that is not good. That is not good at all. So, 1/4 to 3/4 of an inch of ice. It would not surprise me if some locations go a little bit higher than that if we get a heavier band of precipitation moving through. So, that's what everybody came for. Like this video, share it with your friends, get the word out, hunker down. The time to prepare is over. Now we just hunker down and wait it out. And be sure to send your reports. You can tag me on Twitter at Shane Smith Media. Use the hashtag KYWX. And please like and subscribe this video. Now, for those of you all who are into more of the sciencey side of weather, I'm about to do a little bit of a breakdown of what's going on. So let's get right to that. We're going to take a look at how everything plays out according to the European forecast model. That's pretty much my go-to forecast model in a lot of situations. And right now it's showing freezing rain breaking out around midnight in southern and south central Kentucky, right along the I-75 corridor, sleet near Lexington, snow in E-Town and Bowling Green. And then as we push through the overnight, that first wave gets on through the region. Sorry for the lag there. We go into tomorrow afternoon. Wave 2 moves in, starting with freezing rain in south central Kentucky, Heavy snow, Western Kentucky. Paducah, that's going to be your best chance of seeing heavy snow. Bowling Green, you may get in on the sleet there. We go into tomorrow night, just after sunset. We are talking heavy snow from Cincinnati to Lexington, back to E-Town. Lighter snow around Bowling Green. Heavy freezing rain and sleet along the I-75 corridor from Richmond down to Berea. South of that, freezing rain all the way to the Tennessee line. Bell and Harlan counties, pray for that warm air to win out. If this model holds true, you get rain instead of freezing rain, and I don't think that would hurt anybody's feelings down there. And then you can see most of Eastern Kentucky dealing with heavy freezing rain tomorrow at 6 o'clock. And then by early Tuesday morning, most of that mess is on out of here. Then, real quick, let's fast forward to Thursday. Here comes round two. More snow, sleet, freezing rain. We'll worry about the specifics on that second storm later, but just know got another one coming. All right, I want to run through the models real quick, show you what they're showing for snow and ice. So here's the European forecast model. Next to no snow, Eastern Kentucky, there's that line of kind of 1 to 3, 1 to 4 inches I was showing earlier. European model says Bowling Green, you get 10 inches. I think that may be a little high. Same for Lexington at 9. Would not be surprised if that is accurate, though, up near the Ohio River. Whoops, wrong one. Canadian model, a little bit lighter. Old GFS has the ice winning out in central Kentucky more than the snow. So that's why I pushed everything a little bit farther back to the northwest. Now, that's the old GFS. New version of the GFS, similar with the placement, but heavier with the snow, especially across southern Indiana. My friends up towards Indianapolis, down towards Madison, foot snow, have fun. HRRR model, the HER, showing next to no snow, Eastern Kentucky, that 1 to 4 inch corridor, pretty close to what I had on the map. 6 to 10 inches from around Maysville back to Lexington to Bowling Green, points to the west. You can see a couple of the high-res wharf models vary in their placement. Some go more northwest, some go more east. The National Storm, NSSL, National Severe Storm Laboratory, has everything way northwest. Old NAM, pushing the ice back into central Kentucky. High Res NAM pushing it even further west with its latest run. And the regional Canadian, very similar to the European model from earlier. So that's all snow. Here we go with ice, model by model rundown. European, do not like that. Close to a half to 3/4 of an inch for most of eastern and south central Kentucky. Canadian showing a little bit less. GFS a little bit more, and a little bit more back towards south central and the bluegrass part of Kentucky. That's the old GFS. New version, very similar, showing more rain along the Virginia border. Fingers crossed for that one. The HER, a little bit less freezing rain. The high resolution ARW, oof, that's a lot of ice, especially on the high res wharf new version. Yeah, we don't want that. Inch plus showing up from Manchester over to Hyden, up from Hazard to Salyersville into the Big Sandy. No, don't want that. NAM still showing 2/3 to 3/4 of an inch. High res NAM pushing everything a little further northwest. Regional Canadian, about a half inch. All right. If you're not familiar with this website, it could become your best friend for keeping up with the current weather in Kentucky. This is the Kentucky Mesonet, found at kymesonet.org. This is hosted by Western Kentucky University. I'm a proud Hilltopper. Go Tops. They have set up several dozen weather monitoring sites across the state. And I want to draw your attention to this one in Harlan County. That is on the top of Black Mountain. We have a problem in Kentucky with winter weather forecasting because we cannot get good upper air data except for aircraft coming in from the Louisville airport and this sensor right here on Black Mountain. Remember I said we got that warm nose of air. when we forecast, we need to be able to see the entire atmosphere from the surface all the way up to around 30,000 feet. There are no weather balloon sites in Kentucky that gather that data. The nearest one, Nashville, Tennessee, Wilmington, Ohio, Roanoke, Virginia. So we have no data for the upper atmosphere over Kentucky. So anything we get comes from an aircraft or from this site on Black Mountain, which is 4,000 feet up. And that's why this is so important, because right now the warmest spot in Kentucky is the top of Black Mountain, because that's where that warm pocket of air is that I was talking about, up around 850 millibars or around 5,000 feet. At 4,000 feet right now, it is 37.4 degrees Fahrenheit. Just dropped to 37.3. Just got that real-time update. That means that warm pocket of air is already in place over eastern Kentucky, and we got to assume the models are at least close to accurate for that. Now, let's look at forecast temperatures for tomorrow, because this is also going to play a big part. Lows for all of Kentucky below freezing, but the highs may go above freezing or near freezing in some locations. If that happens, that's going to cut down on the icing, and that is a good thing, but not all the models are showing that. Some are a little colder, some are a little warmer. We've just got to wait and see. Now, here is that upper air map that I was telling you about, where we have all those weather balloon sites. Right now down in Nashville, it's 2 degrees Celsius at 5,000 feet, but it's minus 12 in Wilmington, Ohio, and it's 5 in Roanoke. So we kind of have to interpolate from that where that freezing line is, and it's somewhere in southeast Kentucky. We just don't know exactly where. That's why we look at the computer models. They can kind of take that data and interpret it. So this is what we call a forecast sounding. This is a skew-T diagram that shows temperature and humidity all the way from the surface of the atmosphere to the top. So we're looking at this left graph over here, and you're probably saying, whoa, that is a crazy line graph. And it is. Let me kind of break it down for you. There on the left, this is height. So 0 kilometers, that's sea level. 850, that's 1 kilometer up, or about 5,000 feet. 700 millibars, 3 kilometers, about 10,000 feet, so on and so forth. This blue line that goes up and to the right diagonally that you see, that is the freezing line. So notice here at the surface, the temperature, which is the red line, at 30 degrees at London, Kentucky, as of 8 p.m. tonight, or at least that's the forecast, dew point of 25. But notice as you go up to 5,000 feet, it goes above freezing, gets to about 2 or 3 degrees Celsius. This is all Celsius at the bottom, by the way, so you got to do a little conversion from Fahrenheit. So that's why we're expecting freezing rain. Now, why I point this out, I can go click on that map and it'll generate a forecast sounding. So I can go to Black Mountain and see how it's comparing. And it's saying right now at Black Mountain, it should be about 3 or 4 degrees Celsius. Do the conversion, that's about 37 Fahrenheit. So this model, the GFS, is handling that warm nose pretty good. So as I go to forecast, I can click around different spots in eastern Kentucky and see, well, how's this going to handle it? Let's go up maybe around Berea. That's where kind of one of the question marks is. Right now it's showing the freezing line at 5,000 feet, or the temperature right at freezing. So we can look down there, best guess precipitation type when this starts, sleet. We can go into the future. Maybe take it out to tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Sleet, because you get that little warm nose pushing those temperatures above freezing at 5,000 feet. I know that's really sciencey. That's just what we have to look at. When we're doing these forecasts, we have to break it down all the way from the top of the atmosphere down to the surface. And that's what makes this so complicated, forecasting winter weather in eastern Kentucky, is we don't have that data from the upper atmosphere. So, little scientific rant about why it's so hard to forecast here, but we're going to do the best we can with it. If you guys have any questions, be sure to hit me up on Facebook or Twitter. At Twitter, you'll find me at Shane Smith Media. And be sure to like this video, subscribe to the page, and we'll have more content about this winter storm as it continues to unfold.